No one believed it. Now, no one will forget it. Alligator.
Alligator may just be the best monster movie you've never heard of, and it's about time it surfaces. Following in the mighty wake of Jaws, this cult classic dives into the murky underbelly of urban America, where a monstrous mutated alligator stalks the city's sewer system. With razor-sharp wit, dark humor, and brutal thrills, Alligator chomps its way through the screen, turning an urban legend into a monstrous reality. After the massive success of Jaws in 1975, Hollywood discovered a new goldmine, the animal attack genre. This breakout film about a massive shark terrorizing beachgoers struck a nerve with audiences and inspired a wave of imitators. In the years that followed, movie screens were flooded with films about other creatures, from piranhas to grizzly bears, all of them attacking humans. Filmmakers quickly realized that Jaws had tapped into a primal fear of the natural world turning against humanity, and Hollywood quickly began producing any animal attack movie that they thought would make a buck. Yet, amid this flood of creature features, Alligator stands out as a true gem. Its mix of dark humor, social satire, and thrilling suspense sets it apart, giving it a legacy as arguably the best Jaws successor in the animal monster genre. Alligator is a film that combines genuine scares with a sly critique of modern life, transforming the animal attack formula into something smarter and more enduring. To this day, Alligator remains a beloved entry in the genre, and it's often cited as one of the best monster movies to follow in Jaws' wake, a film that, rather than just riding on the success of a trend, brings its own bite. Alligator opens in 1968 with a young girl named Marissa, who buys a baby alligator during a family trip to Florida. She names the alligator Ramon and brings her new pet back home to Chicago. What seems like a nice story quickly turns when the girl's father, who hates animals, flushes Ramon down the toilet. As Ramon is discarded into the Chicago sewer system, he is exposed to toxic chemicals and experimental hormones, setting the stage for the growth of a monstrous human-eating alligator lurking beneath the city. During the 12 years spanning 1968 and 1980, the baby alligator turns into a dinosaur-like monster growing to 36 feet long. After years go by and Ramon has grown into a monster, we are introduced to David Madison, played by Robert Forrester, a hardened police officer struggling because he has gained a reputation of partners dying by his side after a recent botched case. Madison is soon embroiled in a series of bizarre cases involving dismembered animals and a growing list of human casualties found in the sewers of Chicago. As David works on the case, his boss, Chief Clark, introduces him to herpetologist Marissa Kendall. Kendall was, in fact, the girl who bought the baby alligator back in 1968. The two of them, while working on the case, edge into a prickly romantic relationship. As Madison teams up with Marissa, they piece together the horrifying reality of what Ramon has become. A 36-foot alligator that's both the product of urban waste and a predator with a taste for human flesh. Together, they try to convince the authorities of the threat posed by the creature. However, officials are reluctant to believe that a giant alligator could be hiding in the sewers. Only after more deaths and a reporter captures Ramon on camera after he is killed, does the city's leadership, including the mayor, realize the scale of the danger. The citywide attempts to capture or kill Ramon are futile, as the creature's sheer size and strength allow him to elude capture and continue his rampage. The plot thickens as Madison and Kendall discover the link between the alligator's mutation and Slade Laboratories. The pharmaceutical company had been using growth hormones in animal testing, leading to oversized animal carcasses being dumped in the sewer, which became Ramon's food source. This revelation adds a sinister corporate element to the story, showing that Ramon's transformation into a monster is a direct result of corporate malpractice. Eventually, Ramon emerges from the sewers, breaking through the sidewalk and surfacing onto the city streets, causing chaos and carnage. In one iconic scene, the alligator crashes an extravagant wedding reception attended by the city's elite, including officials from Slade Laboratories. The moment highlights the ironic twist of fate as those elites of society are killed by the monster from the underground sewers. Among its victims are Slade himself, the man behind Slade Laboratories, the mayor, and Slade's chief scientist for the hormone experiments, and intended son-in-law. All people on the highest rung of society being killed by something from literally beneath them. The climax sees Madison determined to end the threat once and for all. Armed with explosives, he tracks the alligator back to the sewers for a final showdown. After a tense pursuit, he sets off an explosive that ultimately kills Ramon, ending the alligator's terrifying reign and bringing some measure of closure to the nightmare that has plagued the city. As the film closes, however, the camera lingers on another baby alligator crawling through the sewers, leaving audiences with an eerie hint that the horror may not be over. Alligator might initially seem like a typical creature feature, but it uses the monster in the sewer trope as a social commentary on the typical hierarchy within city life. The screenwriter of Alligator, John Sayles, once said, "My original idea was that the alligator eats its way through the whole socioeconomic system. It comes out of the sewer in the ghetto, then goes to a middle-class neighborhood, then out to the suburbs, and then to a real kind of high-rent area." The movie's satirical tone is largely a product of John Sayles' screenplay, which injects wit and irony into the horror. Sayles, known for his independent films focusing on social issues, uses Alligator to emphasize the impact of pollution and unethical business practices without sacrificing entertainment. This balance of horror and satire lifts Alligator above other Nature Strikes Back films, giving it a uniquely subversive edge. Another standout aspect of Alligator is its character-driven narrative. Officer David Madison, played by Robert Forster, isn't the typical heroic lead, but rather a world-weary, flawed cop haunted by past trauma. His interactions are peppered with dark humor, especially in his self-deprecating comments about his receding hairline. A running joke that Forster improvised and that adds depth to his character. This focus on Madison's vulnerabilities, combined with his sardonic outlook, makes him more relatable and grounded than the standard horror protagonist. Legendary director Quentin Tarantino once said that it was Forster's character and performance as Detective Madison in Alligator that inspired the creation of the character Max Cherry in Jackie Brown. Recognizing the authenticity Forster brought to his roles, Tarantino later cast him as Cherry, a character that shares the same world weariness and grounded quality as Madison. This casting decision helped reinvigorate Forster's career, leading to an Oscar nomination for his performance in Jackie Brown. Alligator stands out as a monster movie that goes beyond simple scares to deliver a pointed critique of the socio-economic system of life. With memorable characters, clever satire, and an innovative approach to monster horror, Alligator succeeds as both a horror thriller and a biting commentary on urban industrialism and environmental exploitation. The plot isn't just about a monster terrorizing a city, it's about a monster born of the city itself, of human mistakes and forgotten fears. In this way, Alligator doesn't just echo Jaws, but reinvents the animal-monster genre by rooting horror in the toxic outcomes of humanity's worst habits.